Welcome to another edition of Homegrown. On today's episode, we're going to go visit with Alex Heim and Scott Osman of Dakota Pure Bison down in Todd County, South Dakota. I'm really excited for you guys to see these majestic animals out in the wild and also as we push them through the chute and keep them healthy. What could go wrong?
Yeah. All right, let's make our cut. Hey girls, hey girls. Hey girls, hey girls.
Hey, hey, hey! Run like hell and grab the gate.
Yeah, this facility, the simpler the better. Yeah. You know, you don't want to have a lot of elaborate alleyways and stuff. That's just triangle, just push them in, keep it simple. All of this stuff, so we just set all this up last night. You know, we just, you know, this just gets, that's the nice thing about the freestanders, you can just do whatever you want with them. But they're so smart that it's kind of can almost be detrimental to them. You know, if they see something that doesn't look right, they won't go. They actually will not go. Well, that's how they made it through the Ice Age, you know, so.
They didn't get ate by saber-tooth tigers.
This is called a crash cage.
Oh, yeah.
So when them animals come in, they have their horns, and you have to open the head gate wider so them horns can come through. But if you had it wide enough for their horns,
they'd just go right through.
You would never catch them.
Right.
So you have this here so they can only go so far,
I got you.
and then you can grab them. You know, and the other thing that's real nice on these chutes is once you get them in, that they have this called a neck extension. So that'll extend them out and hold them. So you can give them a shot real nice, give them their ear tags for identification.
People that have never tried to even give a cow a shot without that neck extender, I mean, sometimes you're sitting here with the nose going, come on, get the tag in, right?
And you'll see, you know, if their head was swinging back and forth
it's just
with their
dangerous.
horns, it's very dangerous. Yeah. Absolutely.
So this all keeps you guys safe. And really keeps them safe as well.
Yeah, cool. Safe for the people, safety for the animals is very important.
Right. We're just trying to get them in here one at a time and stage them so that we can always get one into the chute. And once they get them into the chute, they're going to weigh them. They're going to sort the bull calves from the heifer calves. They're going to sort the replacement heifers off. They're going to check to see if the cows are pregnant. They're going to tag the young ones so that they can keep track of their lineage.
That is one of the things that can really affect the health of the whole herd is parasites. So we deworm them with an injectable antiporon because it's the only time of the year they get it. They only get it once. So. And what he's checking for when he goes up there, she's making sure that she has both her tags and that her eyes are all right. Because during the summer, they can get eye infections and stuff from pink eye, so we're just making sure everything's good. Easy, girl. There we go. Red tag. We probably forgot to bring a tag cutter again, didn't we? She's pregnant. Cut it out, yep. So the red tag means the last year she was open, she wasn't pregnant. This year she got pregnant, so we're gonna keep her. So we forgive them after they have their first calf, so give them a year to breed.
I'm going to come around.
What do you think? How long you been ranching buffalo for now?
Oh, seems like a lifetime. Okay. So they're also, this is all on a scale as well. So they're taking a weight for all the animals that come through here to just check on their weight and how the calves are growing and how healthy the cows are as well.
So yeah, the cows, the big deal on the weight is you can tell a lot. You know, most of ours are younger animals, so it's not a big deal. When they start getting older, if you start seeing that weight decline, you know, health issues.
They're just not getting the nutrition.
Yeah,
their
they're
mouths
not.
aren't as good.
Yeah. This herd is all just on their second calf.
So these are all young.
Under 5 or 6, you know.
So do they have the same, like a broken mouth problem like cows?
Not as much. They'll be productive until they're 20-year-old cows.
Really?
Yeah, they're just they live.
Just longevity.
The guys we bought these from, they had animals that were 22, 23 years old, still producing calves. They don't breed till they're 2, and they don't have a calf till they're 3.
Sure.
So she's on her second calf, so she's 4.
So you say, so they're born in 21.
Born in 21.
Herd number 2.
Yep.
And then just the 13 is the
13th
last.
one through the shoe, yep. Seeing that, the hump, that's what makes them look so big, is that hump. And see, I always thought that hump was just hair and fat. It's just their actual vertebrae are just extended. So that's
Right, so
vertebrae
that's
that goes
your
up.
spinal.
Yeah.
So that's all solid.
Yep, it's all solid up there. That's what makes them look so much bigger.
When they're butchering them, maybe you don't know this, do they get a lot more, I mean, I'd call it the chuck from the cow. Is there a lot of...
No, it's very similar. Yeah, it's very similar.
God, open your back to give her a little daylight.
I hate that.
Does that make you nervous?
Well, it's just, I don't like it being all loud.
They don't waste much time. They get them caught. They're checking them, tagging them. Everybody's got their job and they're done within seconds. You know, that's amazing.
Our cow herds get run through once a year. That's it. That's the only time they're in the corral. So we give them all their up-to-date vaccinations. We deworm them with an inject wormer and a pour-on to cover all those internal parasites. And we switch it up, you know, about every other year. We'll switch up what we use so we don't get resistance, you know. And so we wean the calves. We sorted the bull calves from the heifer calves. They'll go into their separate pens because they have, you know, they're going separate places. You don't run them together. If you don't know, like us, we're so engaged in it, it's just normal. You know, like you hear, you know, the crashing and everything, but it's absolutely mandatory. You have got to manage the health of these animals. If you don't, I mean, that's what happens. Like when people quit managing their animals, you know, it's not even really, you don't want to call it necessary evil because it's not necessary evil. You're doing it for them, running them through the chute. We do it. It's not going to get any more safe than the way we do it. You know, we put the rubber padding on the corrals for shock absorption. They're not running into things. We don't have long lanes where they can go and pile up at the end of a lane. That's all by design. It's not just random. We didn't just throw this together because, oh, we need to work our buffalo.
Like with that pusher.
Yep.
You know, instead of having gates that you're slamming all the time, if you have that pusher and it can just come up and just put them in there and then you back away.
Yeah.
So you can get them right where you need them to be as safely as possible. Sometimes there is a lot of noise going on. If something happens or a metal hits metal, it might not actually have anything to do with the buffalo.
Sounds a lot worse than
Correct.
it probably is.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
They hit a little bit or their hoof hits a piece of tin and that makes a pretty big bang, but really it's what's safest for them.
Yep, and we're
no sharp edges, there's nothing.
No sharp edges. We're trying to minimize the noise as much as possible. You know, not a lot of yelling, not a lot of screaming.
And if you watch these creatures out in the wild and they start fighting and banging heads, there ain't no way there's one of them's going to run into a gate or a fence or anything else nearly as hard as they're going to run into one of their other herd mates out there.
it's a common question, like, oh, you guys use cattle prods, and their hide is so thick and they're so tough. Like I said, they have 3 times as many hair follicles. Yeah, they just really can't hardly get them to go, you know.
And you try not to use them if you don't have to, but if you just give them a little touch, it's just a little buzz, and that's way easier and way less stress actually on that animal than somebody standing there, you know, whacking on them or creating them to have to stand there longer.
It makes them stand there longer. They get more stressed, more nervous. Yeah, what we do to them is the easiest thing that gets done to them. You know, they're, like I said, they're herdy animals. Like, they want to be in a herd, but also they're just ornery. They're always hooking each other. We feed this herd hay for about 2 months out of the year. We roll out hay on that field back there. And you've got to spread the hay out because, well, one, they won't just go up there and they won't just sit there and just camp on the hay all day. You know, they'll eat a little, then they leave because their buddy's gonna come up and jab them in the ribs. You know, they're so ornery, and I don't know why they are.
Yeah, they're a lot harder on each other than you would be on them.
Yep.
So that's to try to get them through there as quick as possible so they're not hitting on each other.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we run them through is for their health.
And then the other thing was they were confirming the pregnancy with ultrasound.
Oh yeah, yep.
Dr. Tom Covey from the Winter Animal Clinic has been doing ours for a long time, does an excellent job. And they call it a repro scan, is what they use. It's on the end of a small stick or a rod. And so then that gets inserted into their hind end, and then he has a monitor over on the side that he can actually see, you know, an image of either the fluid or even part of the calf that's inside of the mother cow.
They're very smart. Yeah, they're easy to romanticize. You know, like, we're doing this, you know, for sustainability, for profit, but they're so easy to fall in love with. It's just, I mean,
and so many people do.
Yeah.
Which sometimes creates problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
they're cute, but you don't want to go try and pet the calf.
That's right. You don't want to do that. Yeah, calving season, that's probably one of the biggest differences in beef is calving season.
You go on vacation with buffalo.
You go on vacation during calving season.
Drive by
stay out of
the
it.
and look at them.
Yeah.
It looks like they're having some
Yeah,
calves.
because you're not going to do anything anyways.
Right.
And very rarely do you have an issue. You know, they're wild animals.
Tell me more about these creatures that most of us, we really just aren't that familiar with. We think they just got a big old flabby hump of fat on them and they run around and grunt a little bit. What am I missing?
I would say one of the biggest misconceptions, just to start with the buffalo, is how big they are. They're from a weight stance, they're actually not. You know, a lot of these cows are weighing from 1,050 to 1,200 pounds. So a lot of your beef cows are pushing 14.5, 1,500 pounds.
Yeah.
So you're looking at about 300 pounds less body weight. They're just proportioned different. You know, they got a bigger head, they got hump, deep chest cavity, but then they narrow out as they come to the back end. So that would be one of the things out in the public. You see people, they always think how big they are. They're really not. And in the wintertime, as it gets cold, their metabolism slows down. So they're much more efficient at eating. Mm-hmm. So you can get by with much less hay if you have to hay them, or the grass. Your carrying capacity actually can go up on a per head basis.
So a little more naturally adaptive to a cold environment, obviously. I mean, you can probably tell that by looking at them, but their metabolism actually physically slows down. And you're right, I mean, I couldn't believe, you know, I've seen a lot of buffalo and been to Custer State Park and Yellowstone and all that, and from a little ways away, they look like these pretty huge animals, and some of the bulls really are, but when we ran all them cows through, man, I couldn't, they weren't that big animals, and they actually did really well through the chute. I thought they stayed fairly calm.
And they're, you know, they're so fast. I mean, you stand here and you see them, I mean, them things can just, can move on a dime. You know, they're so athletic. And so that's why, you know, having good facilities, good fences is very important to have, you know, to be a good neighbor.
Right.
And to take good care of the animal.
Well, and that was one of the things I thought was neat when we're in the corrals and we're kind of getting them going. I thought you'd see a lot more anxiety out of them.
That's another thing people always say, oh, let me know when you're gonna have your roundup. I'd love to come help. You know, it's like, well, you know, I'm glad you're willing to come help, but as a rule, we don't have a roundup. You know, we set it up so we're rotationally moving our herds, and we set it up where we're gonna come through the corral or by the corral, and you'll just have them naturally go through the corral and shut the gates, and they don't even know they're being caught. You know, we don't go out with a bunch of horses and four-wheelers and 17 people. Usually can do that with 2.
Dang, I was really hoping we could get on some horses and do some old cowboy stuff here.
Absolutely, yeah. Just the less times to minimize that stress is definitely what we focus on.
Similar as you would to cattle. I mean, you're still vaccinating them, you're still taking care of them, you're still managing them, rotating pastures. You know, it's really hands-on active management. It's not just like you're
you don't
wild
just,
animals.
well, that's one of the biggest issues probably in the bison industry, because people get bison just to say they have bison.
Right.
And we are raising these for meat. That's what it has to be, and you know, improve our genetics. We sell breeding stock as well. We have this amazing grass, probably some of the best grass in the world, and you have to be operating on it and managing it correctly. Otherwise, you won't be efficient.
Right, and it doesn't matter if it's donkeys or buffalo or cows out here. If you're not managing your grass, it's going to go to hell in a handbasket.
So we could run all 650, 700 cows. We could run them all in one group, but there's 2 things. It's having enough water when they go up to the water tank so everyone can get a good drink. And number 2 is we have range units that we lease from the BIA and from the tribe, so we have to abide by their rules, which they're good rules, you know, keeps riffraff out. The goal is to improve the grass every year and raise healthier and heavier calves every year. That's the whole, you know, you can see where we're standing here. It's every year this will get better, is the goal. Yes, and this is, we're at the end of the season, you know, and there's still grass left. You know, we were always rotationally grazing, but wasn't really on purpose like it is now. We're trying to mimic the natural movement of what they used to do. Come in, graze an area off, leave, you know, so that's what we're doing.
But you still have, I mean, even though that you have, you know, the natural bovine out here, it's still up to you, the manager, to go move them and manage this rangeland.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the way it is.
Keep your salt bunks moved, keep the water on, and keeping the animals moved and giving the land enough rest. You know, here we're anywhere from 65 to 95-day rest period. Just kind of depends on every situation's different, but yeah, that is the goal, is to improve the ground and have heavier calves every year and healthier animals.
Dakota Pure Bison was founded by the Heims and Osmonds, and Scott and his father Mike, and then my father Leonard, and then our wives. My wife is Cassie Heim. I have 3 boys. Luke is 7, Kingston is 2.5, and we have about a 7-month-old little boy, Blaze. So that's the biggest thing with any business, is make sure you got a family and a spouse, you know, that is very supporting, very engaged.
They better be on board, or your business not going very
Correct.
Yeah, it is, especially how it's been. My wife, Kate, she does most of the website stuff, and then we got Ted, he's just over 2 years old, and we got Cal now, who's 3 months old. So it's been a while, a couple years.
You're not very busy then, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Just getting warmed up.
We were bored, so we thought we'd start a meat company.
Yeah. When we got into the bison industry, the Heims were very instrumental in helping us figure out what the heck was going on. You know, Alex was down at our place all the time. Is this gonna work? Is that gonna work? And it was early on there we were already talking about it. We knew it was something that it just seemed vital for us to have a place to go with our product, these animals, a place to meet. So we decided we're gonna start shipping meat online directly to people's doors and wholesaling. And so it's been a long process, but our 30,000 foot goal of Dakota Pure is improve the land, have a place to go for our animals, and really put Americans back to work and get Americans eating American-raised meat is our goal.
There was people that they even wanted meat.
Yeah.
You know, we have meat, we have all these animals, and then people want meat. Hey, how can I get this stuff? So it's just natural. All of a sudden, man, I would love to be able to get my family, my friends, the rest of the American population, bison meat in their hands. So,
because I'd hardly even ate bison before we started Dakota Pure. I mean, you just couldn't get it.
You were raising them.
Yeah, you raise it,
Right.
you send it off, and you don't know where it goes. Just like probably 80–90% of most agriculture producers, they don't know where their end product is ending up. So,
you know, and that's where it's awesome to hear from our customers, you know, that are buying every month or every couple months. You know, you almost get to know some of them. You know, they're buying your product. We're doing it every day. We're raising them animals, and we're helping to feed families. And so it's a very, very rewarding thing, you know, to be able to do that. The animals are raised right here between the Heim and Osmond family. We're running just shy of 2,000 mother cows. So we have a pretty good nucleus of the product, of the animals, of the live product. So thus we started Dakota Pure Bison. So then we had to find somewhere for the animals to be processed and packaged. So I had developed a relationship with a gentleman over in Wisconsin. So currently our animals actually get shipped over to Wisconsin, get processed there and packaged. Then we ship all of that back to Rapid City, South Dakota, to the warehouse in Rapid City, and then from there it gets dispersed throughout the United States.
So that's why your snack sticks are so good, because they're made in Wisconsin.
those guys know their processed meats over there.
They know how to make some sausage.
Yeah,
there's an art to it. You don't just do that in your kitchen.
There's an absolute art to it. Yeah. We don't add things that we don't raise. We don't add beef. We don't add pork.
So we're trying to create that. You know, you buy Dakota Pure Bison, you are getting pure bison.
Taylor rides just as well as any